Except where them haters, where them hoes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? See,
I'm going to put a URL for the article that I'm going to talk about in the video below. But it's basically, in the description below the video. But she's basically talking about why she does not recommend martial arts for victims of abuse. And I'm just going to sum up the article in one statement. Because predators go to where youth are, and a lot of martial arts places, especially if you're doing a sport, you're doing youth sports, so you could be setting somebody up to get abused by a predator that's hiding out in the martial arts. Now, I hate to say that, and this was a hard thing to read, but it's true. Because the background checks for most martial arts places, from what I've seen, are really not that stringent or not that strenuous. So it would be a good place for a predator to hide out. And if you just go to Google and type in like sex abuse martial arts, or even if you just type in martial arts instructor or martial arts teacher, after you get through a few nice things that tug the heartstrings, it's going to be tons of links to stuff over the years. This teacher was busted for this. That teacher was busted for that. That teacher was busted for that. Now, am I trying to throw all martial arts people under the bus? Of course not, because I'm a martial arts instructor part-time. And what I'm saying is not even an indictment of all storefronts, because it's not. But one place I do know where you should be able to be safe is if it's something that's run out of a rec center, at least where I'm teaching, because we have to get background checks a lot, at least once a year. And plus, at the centers where I teach, there are cameras. There's like a camera there. One room I think has two. I'm not mistaken. It may have two, but there's a camera. And when you go behind the front desk, you can watch what's going on in the room. So from the front desk. So there's cameras there. Now I put together a list of how to prevent abuse in the martial arts. I'm going to put a link to that below too. But when I was having to get cleared to go on a field trip for both my son and my daughter, when they were in elementary school, I had to go through, I guess you would call it parental awareness training. And they talked about how predators a lot of times take coaching positions just so they can be next to the victims. So read the article. It's not long, but it's a very good read. And instead of us going, wow, that's really bad, let's think of some ways where we can make it so that people can feel comfortable again, or at least this lady can feel comfortable again saying, you know what, if a child has been a victim of abuse, the martial arts are a good place for him or her to go to. Now, one thing I will say is this. I think it doesn't happen often, but I think once in a blue moon, I may get a child that'll come through, and I get the feeling that the child may have been a victim of abuse, but I can't really say anything about it. I can't really talk about it, because it's not only am I going to look really, really creepy doing that, but I'm really not qualified to help a child through something like that. I'm qualified to teach a martial art. That's it. Usually somebody, like they say, they'll have an aversion to being grabbed, to doing any of the grappling, or let's just say they go at the grappling the wrong way. That's all I'm going to say about that. Or like this is what happened when I was a brown belt. When I was a brown belt in Tangsudo, I was sparring with a girl. I must have been, I think I was still in my 20s or close to 30. She was a teenager. And we were doing a drill. We were doing like a self-defense / one-step type of drill. And I was doing the grab, so I grabbed her. And then the look she got in her eyes, it was a self-defense drill because I grabbed her. And then she turned around and looked and was doing the escape. And she got this weird look in her eye. And then it was like, I felt like she wasn't really looking at me. But I was stupid. So I continued on and I said, okay, now put me in the headlock so I can practice it. And she put me in that headlock. I mean, it's funny now. Man, she was going to town on my neck, Jack. She was, I mean, she was trying to snatch my head off my shoulders. And she was not that big, but when I tell you, I had to do the escape for real to get out of it. I had to do the escape for real with real strength, real contact, and then yet and still I had to show real control because when I brought her head down, it's a move that you were going to swear it doesn't work. So I'm not going to go into what it was. But when I did this part of the move to get her off and to bring her head down, then I had to go back to classical control and stop. So I would stop her head from hitting the floor. So when I came down, I just stopped where I knew to stop for control purposes. And then she tells me, oh, I was like, are you okay? She said, oh, I'm sorry. She starts telling me about a time when she got into a fight with her sister. And her sister used to beat up on her a lot. Her sister doesn't live there anymore, but her sister really abused her. And, I was like, okay, all right, okay. And in the meantime, the black belt instructors are laughing, cracking up. But something like that just goes to show, I mean, what did I really know to say? I didn't really know what to say. I mean, in my amateur opinion, that was probably somebody who perhaps should have been getting some type of therapy for the abuse that she got from her sister, either before or along with martial arts training. So, and that's not something I'm not qualified to do that. Now there are some instructors that probably do have backgrounds in psychology or psychiatry and their experience with youth and adolescents and stuff like that. They know how to do counseling. People who've survived trauma or whatever, and maybe they know what to do, or they probably would have when they saw the first look that I saw and ignored because I didn't know any better. They would have known, oh, this is some kind of a symptom of trauma. Let's just stop. I mean, I didn't know. So, what am I going to do? And then I can't talk because I was an adult. And, yeah, this was still a Tang Soo, though. I think I was going for the stripe on the brown belt. And I was sparring the instructor. And it was the way he had hit me. He hit me like it brought back a memory of a real fight I was in. And then I was the crazy one. I was like, what? And I looked at him. And I thought it was a dude I was fighting for just a second. And I was like, what? I started swinging a little bit, then I shook it off. I apologized afterwards, though. I was like, man, Dad, this time I'm the one that had a flashback. And that was to like a fight I was in when I was like, 15 or something? And I thought I had forgotten all about that. And he goes, yeah, that happens. But now he's actually trained to deal with people that have mental problems. Does he have a master's? I think he does have a master's degree. But in his day job, he deals with people that have problems. So he wasn't too surprised, and he knew how to handle it. Okay. Then again, that was Gil Whitfield. I'm sure he's a grandmaster now. Grandmaster Gil Whitfield is just phenomenal like that. But, I am with the majority of martial artists who we don't have that type of formal training to be able to handle, someone who has really deep issues. I mean, there have been times where, and I can't even say necessarily that it was the worst type of, I'll just call it the worst type of child abuse to keep this channel G-rated. But I mean, children just start crying sometimes. And it doesn't happen all the time. Every once in a while somebody starts crying. And I can't really give them counseling there on the spot. I'll just have to say, well, don't worry, just don't do this activity. You can do it when you feel comfortable. So I could see why she would say if someone is a victim of abuse and great trauma, for one, keep them away from the predators because predators infiltrate our arts. But what I'm saying from my experience is, you know, if the victim of the trauma is a little older, I mean, this may be politically correct. I mean, this may be politically incorrect, but you know, maybe they should talk to someone too, so they can protect, so that people who are working with them can be protected, so that they won't, have a flashback and hurt someone. And just like when the girl tried to choke me, I wasn't mad at her though. I wasn't mad at her because I understand. I felt empathy for her, but I wasn't really in a position to quote unquote give her treatment. I listened and I didn't try to push her back in anything until she felt ready. So, and then when I was the person who was tripping, you know, luckily he had training to do it, but I was thinking maybe somebody else may not have had that kind of training. It also shows you how hard we were sparring. Man, it wasn't really that hard, but I was just already tired by that point in the test too. So anyway, read. This is what is this? drannamaria.blogspot.com. I'm going to have the URL to that below, and the URL to my suggestions on how to prevent. I'll just call it the worst type of abuse in the martial arts for children. We need to think about this stuff. Okay. Now I'm going to close by saying this. Now, do I think we should really require like master's degrees level certifications and trainings for martial arts instructors? No. Well, if you do want to, then pay us for it. Are you going to pay us? Are you going to pay us? Like a master's degree rate, are you going to pay us? If we either have to go out and get a master's degree in counseling, or we have to take X amount of counseling hours as martial arts instructors to be able to, teach youth, are we going to get paid? Or are you at least going to pay for our training to do that? Because, I mean, if you pay for my classes, I know me. I'll go. If you're going to pay for it, I'll definitely go. But if you're going to require it of me and then you're not going to pay for it, reimburse me, and then to top it all off, if you're still going to pay me, you're still going to pay me low wage or salary for it, then you're going to have an even harder time finding instructors because you're going to be like, I got to pay all that money, and then it's not going to command a higher rate. So something to think about. Thanks for sticking with this video this long. I said if you stick with some of these videos this long, it's going to be a product I'm going to give you. I haven't decided what the product is yet. I got a couple of things in mind. Actually, one of them I had to go hunt for because it's on the internet, but I don't think I have a PDF for free. I'm going to have to go to the site where it's available for pay and then get that PDF. All right? So check out Dr. Ann Marie's blog, and check out the list I put together too, so we can make the martial arts better for everybody, especially people who have been victims of abuse. Peace!